Hi, this is Alicia, and in this episode of the Digital Jampreneur, we're going to talk about commitments. Hi, it's Alicia Lyttle, and welcome to this session of the Digital Jampreneur. In this session, I'm going to talk about making commitments to yourself. Why am I talking about this on the Digital Jampreneur? Because it's important that in life and in your business that you make commitments to yourself that keep pushing you forward. Now, I know this is the Digital Jampreneur, and we're supposed to talk about the internet and internet-based business stuff and how the internet makes your life easier. But how are you supposed to work on your business if you haven't made commitments to yourself to improve and push yourself to the next level? When you make a commitment with yourself, you get honest with yourself. So I want you to write down your commitment and understand that if you need the support and resources to push you, that I invite you to check out Internet Income Jamaica. Go to internetinkomejamaica.com. Check out our courses, check out what we have to offer. You can also join our Facebook group. So, in this Facebook group, which I'll have the link right here on this page, in this Facebook group, you can find like minded individuals who will help you and continue to push you forward. So, let's go ahead and dig in to commitments. So, commitment number one, are you ready to hear it? Drum roll, please. Commitment number one, I really adapted from my great friend Les Brown. And if you know Les Brown, you know that he says this. It's possible. Commitment number one is about believing in yourself and understanding that it's possible for me. In Digital Media Alliance, you're going to hear all these stories about people who are doing amazing things, but you're going to wonder to yourself, is that something that I can do? Is this also for me? And when you start to question yourself, immediately stop and answer your own question and say, yes, it is. Les Brown says that it's possible for me. So, commitment number one, write it down, believing it's possible for you. Write that down, believing it's possible for you. So what you're going to write on your piece of paper is commitment number one, it's possible for me. Right. And this is really about believing in yourself. And as you are on your journey, one of the things that I found is there are things that are going to be thrown at you that you're not going to be sure that you can handle, that you're not going to be sure that you're good enough to take on. But all you have to remember is wait a minute, my first commitment to myself is really telling myself that it's possible for me and that this is something that can happen for me. So if you want it, it's there for you and understand that. Okay, let's move on to commitment number two. Round of applause for this one. Yes, 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 yes. A commitment that I make to myself is to always have as much fun as possible when teaching and when learning. So that's my commitment to myself. Anyway, commitment number two is ABL. Write that down. ABL. What does ABL stand for? It stands for always be learning. You have to make the commitment to always be learning, learn different things that are going to push your business forward. And when you make that commitment to always be learning, you're going to see that things change for you in such a positive way that you are getting the knowledge from other people, other resources, other companies to build your own knowledge bank. And when you do that, what happens to you? What happens? You grow. So when you commit to yourself to always be learning, you grow. Let me give you some tools to always be learning. Number one is Amazon. Go to Amazon, buy a book, read a book. Then go to Audible and buy that same book as an audiobook. And after you've read it once, now listen to it twice as an audiobook. I just recently did this for the book Key Person of Influence, a book that I absolutely love. It's by Kevin Harrington and Daniel Presley. But I really wanted to absorb the contents of this book. I mean, what these two have put into this book was years and years and years and years and years of knowledge and wisdom and research and case studies that I wanted to absorb it. So I got the book and then I got it on Audible version. Now I also have an app called Blinklist. Write that down, Blinklist. And on Blinklist, it allows me to listen to the book in like the Cliff Note version. So it's the book summary. So that's how I love to learn when I've committed to learning a certain topic from a certain author. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to get the book. I'm going to listen to the Audible version, and then I'm going to listen to the Blinklist version. Now, I love to also consume a lot of information, so I will go to Blinklist and just listen to as many book summaries as I can. When is a good time to do this? When I'm walking, when I'm exercising, when I'm driving, listening in my car, when I'm waiting in any line, when I'm shopping in the grocery store. If you see me in the grocery store shopping, I'm like, oh yeah, nodding. I might stop and take a note on my phone because I'm learning. Like, why waste that time walking around the grocery store not having something in my ears and listening to? So I love my AirPods. I don't have them on my table, but I love my AirPods. Invest in a good set of AirPods so that, Bluetooth AirPods, you can be listening on your phone. And then I'm always buying courses from others in my industry. So continue to buy courses, continue to buy books. There's no better investment that you can make other than investing in yourself. Like, that is the best investment you can make, hands down. Nobody will argue with you on that. If you go to someone and say, you know what, I think the best investment I can make is investing in myself and my learning and my advancement, no one's going to say, nah, don't invest in yourself. That's a bad idea. Everyone's going to say, you go for it. That is a really good idea. So always be learning and investing in yourself. So if I look at my average week, this week already, I have bought one course, two books. I've listened to maybe 5 blink lists, like just learning and absorbing the information. Okay, so commitment number 1 is believing it's possible for you. Commitment number 2 is ABL, always be learning. What is commitment number 3? Commitment number 3 is moving forward every single day. Look at your feet. Your feet were made for going forward. How hard is it to go backwards? Stand right now. Go ahead, stand right now. I'll give you a minute to do it. If you're driving, don't do this. If you're listening to this while you're driving. But while you're standing, move your feet 1 foot in front of the other and move forward. Move forward, right? Okay. Now try to move backward. It's not natural. You want to make sure you're not falling over, so you're looking behind yourself. The direction that you need to move in your life every single day is what direction? It's forward. And when you're looking at the mistakes that you made in the past, or the mistakes you think you made in the past, or things that happened to you in the past that are preventing you from moving forward, I just want you to look down at your feet and remind yourself that your body is made for moving forward. Take action every single day. Think about when you go to bed at night, write down in your notebook, put it on your bedside, and say, what are 3 massive actions that I can take tomorrow that's going to move me and it's going to move my business forward? Go to sleep. You'll think on it, and your subconscious mind will work on it all night. When you wake up in the morning, what? It's going to be a great day. You're going to take massive action. You're going to look on the side of your bed and you say, yeah, those 3 things, I am going for it. I'm all in. I'm going for it. Let's do this. Take massive action every day. And remember that your body is made to move forward. Okay. Commitment number 4 is learning when to say yes and learning when to say no. Now, this can be really hard for a lot of people, myself included. Yeah. Sometimes I say yes way more than I need to, but I'm learning to become better at it. And so learn when to say yes and when to say no. I've done things like, there's someone that calls me all the time just to pitch MLMs. And this person, I'm like, oh my gosh, every time I answer the phone, it's about that person. It's about that person. It's about that person. And it's never about, Alicia, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? How can I help you? It's like, Alicia, I want you to get on this webinar to learn the latest and greatest thing. And you must be on. And I'm going to send you 10 reminders to tell you to get on. And it's about this MLM or something. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it makes me miserable every time I answer the phone when this person calls. So what I did was I changed their name in my phone to do not answer. So I guess I could block them too. But every time they call, it says MLM pitch, do not answer. And I look at it, I laugh, and I don't answer. So sometimes I would answer, and just to be nice, I would get on the webinar and let them know that I'm there. But now I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. I am not doing that. Learn when to say no and when to say yes. Also, sometimes when doing work for clients, you have to learn when to say yes and when to say no, and what clients you really want to work with and don't want to work with. Life is too short to work with a client that makes you unhappy. This is something that I found. And even a freelancer that makes you unhappy, or a contractor, or an employee. In my office, I used to stand outside of the door like this when people came in the morning, and I would be their smiles, or I would be like right inside of the door, and I'm happy and I'm smiling. And if they walked in the door like with a bad attitude, I would say, leave that outside the door. If you need to go outside the door to throw it out, do that. Come back in the door smiling with energy. This is a place of happiness and of joy. And it got to be a habit. So now, as people walk in the office, leave all the stress and the problems outside the door and walk into the door with the attitude of happiness and respect and, expectance of great things are going to be happening today. So I had to say no to a few people who worked for me who could not do it. Imagine somebody who says, I can't do that. No, the day's going to be horrible. Everything sucks. And I said, well, you know what? If you can't change that, you can't work here. You can't be around me, because your negative energy is impacting me and my body and how I feel. And if you're not willing to change that, then I'm going to have to say, no, you can't work here anymore. And so when you get rid of those people around you, whether it's somebody who works for you or a client or sometimes even a family member, this is my ex-husband, but if they're too toxic for you, you have to say no to that relationship. And when you do that, you will feel clear. You will feel a weight lifted off of your shoulders. Pay attention to the people around you who make you feel sick, right? And say no to spending time with them. Say no to answering their phone calls. And you're asking me, well, what does this commitment have to do with bettering my business? It has everything to do with bettering your business. So learning when to say yes and when to say no is commitment number 4. And also, I want you to understand that you have to maintain a proper work-life balance. And so saying yes and saying no, and understanding when is the proper time to do both of those will also allow you to have the proper work-life balance. I will admit I'm a workaholic. And if you look up National Workaholic Day, it is my birthday. Is that crazy? I wonder if the day was set as National Workaholic Day before my birthday or after my birthday. But anyway, it is. July 5th is National Workaholics Day. And for years, from listening to other gurus, I thought that I was supposed to be a workaholic in order to be successful and look successful to the outside world. So what did I do? I made sure that I was working every minute of the day. I found something to work on. I said yes to everything that came my way because it was going to keep me busy. Sure, I'll listen to your pitch that I can't stand. Sure, I'll get on your, you know what I mean? So instead of saying no, I said yes. And what happens when you say yes to everything? You do not have a proper work-life balance. So make sure that before you open your mouth and commit to something, whether it's a yes or a no, that you think for a minute. Okay. And then commitment number 5 is never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, ever. Wait a second. We need a drum roll first. I want to make sure you're listening. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. You're going to fail. Things aren't going to work. but you will never, ever give up. Do you want to know why? Because you are not a quitter. I know this about you. You wouldn't be watching this if you were a quitter. But there are times where you're going to think, you know what? I can't do this. Being a business owner isn't for me. It's for other people, but it's not for me. I'm going to quit. I'm going to walk away from this and I'm going to quit. But you have to understand that if something happens, it is just a part of your journey, but it is not the end of the road. Do not quit. Never, ever give up. I am often called a solutionist. So I love solving problems and I don't like giving up and having other people give up. So if you need a problem solved and you're one of my friends, you come to me and you ask me how to solve the problem. And right there on the spot, I don't even have to think, I can solve your problem for you. I am a solutionist and I've learned how to be a solutionist because I never want to give up. So if somebody doesn't know how to do something, they're like, can't do this. I'm like, here's what you need to do. I have a friend who was like, oh my gosh, my lead source in my business has now dried up. And so now what am I going to do in my business? I don't know. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm not going to have a lead source. And without taking a breath, I said, find another lead source, generate another traffic. All you need to do is buy someone's course who is a master at that lead traffic source, get coaching from them, go all in, and then learn how to generate the traffic yourself with a new traffic source. Right? Don't give up your business because a traffic source dried up. Find a new traffic source. And then don't learn everything yourself. Find someone who is doing it and a master at it and hire them to teach you how to do it. Bam, problem solved, new leads generated. So I'm always saying, you know what? I don't want you to give up. I just want us to take a minute and find the solution to your problem. And I believe that in that moment where you feel like giving up, you just need to ask yourself, what is the solution to this problem? Let me look at it from another way. What would Alicia do? A solution is, let me step back a minute and look for the solution that's going to make this work and understand that your journey has failures in it. And if you don't accept those failures, you're going to have a really hard time with success because in order to get to that level that you want to go to, you have to fail. If you haven't failed yet, you're going to say, all right, well, I'm waiting for that failure because I know that the path to success is bumpy. It's got potholes in it, right? It's got gates I got to unlock and open and push open and drive through, right? The road to success is not a smoothly paved road. So if you don't come across bumps and holes and gates to open and codes to figure out, then are you really pushing and moving on that road to success? So, I teach freelancers how to start their freelancing business and really how to boost their business. And so a freelancer came to me and I tell them to do this task. It's called doing buyer's request. And I'm like, do buyer's request and you'll get your first client that way. And they did one buyer's request and they didn't get the job. And they did another buyer's request and they didn't get the job. And they did the third buyer's request, didn't get the job. And then they gave up and they came to me and said, guess what? This doesn't work. I did 3. I didn't get accepted. I quit. I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going to have my own online business. I was like, oh, interesting. You only did 3? Didn't you read in the material that I gave you that the ratio of success to failure is 18 to 1 or 1 to 18? So you have to apply for 18 buyer's requests before you'll get your first yes. You're going to get 18 no's first before you get a yes. Yes will be number 19. So if you've only done 3, get back in there. You have 15 more to do. And they were like, I didn't know that. I said, yes, that's the average. It's the law of averages for this. If you haven't done 18, then you're not going to get to the 1 yes. So they went and they did another one and they got a no. That was no number 4. And they did another buyer's request and they got a no. And that was number 5. And they did another buyer's request and they got a no. And that was number 6. And they did another buyer's request and got a yes. Number 7 was a yes. And in fact, number 7 was such a good yes that the workload that came in from this one person, they had to hire other people in their business to help them do the work. And then they came back to me and said, I did 7. I didn't even have to get to 18. And I said, good job. But they were willing to get to 18 because they knew that the road to success had failures in it. So I want you to think about your road to success and the failures that you've had, and just understand that you have to get some no's in order to get a yes, but you can never, ever, ever give up. When we think about the inventions that we have that make our life easier, right? When we think about the franchises that were open, how many times, when we think about the most amazing books in the world, how many times were those authors turned down? How many times were the inventions a failure before they were a success? Never give up. Thank you guys so much. And I want to make sure that you make those 5 commitments to yourself. And I want you to celebrate the fact that you wrote them down, that you listened to this whole session, and that you said to yourself, you know what? I deserve it. I'm going to make these commitments to myself. I'm going to make them count. And I know that in making these commitments to myself, that change will be made, that I will make an improvement, and I have the resources and the people around me that can help me to make these commitments lead me on that path to success. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Digital Jampreneur. Don't forget, follow me on social media. I'd love to connect with you on Instagram, on Facebook, even on LinkedIn. What about Twitter? We can tweet with each other. So follow me on social media, ask me any questions that you have, and definitely check out Internet Income Jamaica, because at Internet Income Jamaica, we teach entrepreneurs and future business owners how to make commitments to themselves by learning the skills that they need to know in order to start and grow an online business. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Digital Jampreneur. Bye for now.